Let's just get right to it. It's the big question, right? We all live and breathe this game. But does all that passion, all that love for football actually help you live longer?
I mean, we all know the feeling. The game brings us together, it's an escape, and for those 90 minutes, nothing else in the world seems to matter. It's this incredible force for good in so many of our lives.
But, and this is a big but, what if there's a darker side to all that passion? Could the same game that brings us so much joy also be, well, a genuine threat to our health?
Okay, so this slide just lays out the whole paradox perfectly. On one side, you've got the good stuff, like research shows former players have a 29% lower risk of depression. That's huge. But then you look at the other side, and wow, during big matches, there's a 2.66 times, not percent, times increase in cardiac emergencies for fans. So, what is going on here?
All right, to get to the bottom of this, we first have to understand what's happening in our heads when we're glued to a match. Let's start with the brain.
You know, supporting a team isn't just a casual hobby. It taps into something way deeper, something almost primal inside us. It's called group identity. Our brains literally light up the same circuits that our ancestors used for belonging to a tribe. We are just wired to be part of a team, and us.
And what about when you're actually in the game, watching every pass? A lot of us get into what psychologists call a flow state. It's that feeling where you're so locked in, so focused, that all your everyday problems just vanish. Your brain is so busy in that moment that it literally quiets down the parts that make you worry. It's like a mini vacation for your mind.
And this quote from a fan in a study, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's not just an escape, it's a full-on mental reset. And that feeling is a massive, massive part of why being a fan feels so good.
And that personal feeling, it scales up. It creates these incredible communities. Being a fan is one of the best weapons we have against loneliness. It gives you a sense of belonging, shared rituals, people who get it, and it connects you with people you'd otherwise never meet. And those social bonds, they're absolutely crucial for our long-term mental health.
Okay, so we've seen the good side, but now we have to flip the coin. We have to talk about the agony, the last-minute goals against us, the penalty shootouts. Let's see how that emotional pain can become a very real physical danger.
And the best evidence we have for this takes us to Munich, Germany, during the 2006 World Cup. The country was hosting, the excitement was off the charts, and some researchers decided to track exactly what was happening to fans' hearts throughout the tournament.
So they asked a really simple question. What is the actual physical price of watching your team play on the biggest stage in the world? The answer was unbelievable.
This is the number. On days when the German team played, the number of serious cardiac emergencies, we're talking heart attacks, dangerous irregular heartbeats, was 2.66 times higher than on a normal day.
Now have a look at this chart because it tells an even more detailed story. That first bar is the overall 2.66 times increase we just talked about. But look at the second bar. For men, the risk was even higher, a massive 3.26 times jump. And for women, as you see in the third bar, it was still a really significant 1.82 times higher. The emotional stress was having a direct and frankly dangerous effect on people's bodies.
And if you think this was just some fluke in Germany, think again. Remember when England lost that soul-crushing penalty shootout to Argentina in '98? Well, hospitals in the UK saw a 25% spike in heart attack admissions in the 2 days that followed. The heartbreak was quite literally real.
So what in the world is happening inside our bodies to cause this? Well, it's a classic full-blown stress reaction. First, your body hits the panic button, and your heart rate and blood pressure shoot up. Then stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline just flood your system. This makes your blood thicker, stickier, and more likely to clot. And to top it all off, your arteries can actually tighten up or spasm. For anyone who already has heart issues, this is the absolute perfect storm for a cardiac event.
So how do we make sense of this? We've got these amazing mental benefits on one hand, and this terrifying physical risk on the other. Well, the answer comes down to understanding the difference between the quality of your life and the quantity of it.
Right, so here's the most important part. The answer is different for different people, and this table shows it perfectly. Let's walk through it. If you're a pretty healthy adult under 50, being a fan is probably fine, maybe even a little bit good for your heart overall. But, and this is key, if you have known heart disease or other issues like heart failure, that risk during a tense match goes way, way up. And now look at that last row. This is so interesting. If you're a fan who's also active in the community and you exercise, the overall effect can actually be protective. It all comes down to who you are.
And that brings us to the core takeaway here. All the joy, the community, the escape, that stuff improves your health span, the quality of the years you live. But for some vulnerable people, the intense stress of the game itself can threaten your lifespan, the total number of years you get.
So, this all leads to the most important question of all. How do you keep enjoying the game you love while also protecting yourself? We need a game plan.
Okay, here's your healthy fan playbook. It's pretty straightforward. First, you've got to know your own risk. Do you have a history of heart problems? Second, talk to your doctor about it. They might have suggestions for how to manage big tournaments. And third, think about how you watch. And I know this might sound crazy, but watching a recorded match after you already know the score gives you all the joy of the beautiful football without any of the dangerous, nail-biting stress.
And this chart just hammers home who really needs to be careful. Look at that giant slice of the pie. In that German study, almost half, 47% of all the heart emergencies happened to people who already knew they had heart disease. So if that's you or someone you love, this isn't just theory. The risk is very, very real. So, we end up right back where we started. Football gives us this incredible sense of joy and community. It makes our lives better in so many ways. But now we know, for some of us, it comes with a serious physical risk. So the final question really is for you to answer. How do you balance that final score?